Hello, hello. I am back. Today is day 25 of me quitting mindless media consumption. So, I had a couple other videos where I shifted away from this topic for about the last week or so, and now I'm circling back. So, it's been about 10 days since I last checked in about how it's going with me quitting mindless media consumption. Um, if you're new here, to get you caught up, it was about 25 days ago where I had kind of a moment where I overdosed on mindless media consumption and have since really shifted my relationship to it, and just am in this place where I seem to not really tolerate wanting to do it very much. Um, and today I want to get caught up on how the last few days have gone in particular. Um, if you go back to my last couple of videos, I kind of shifted away from talking about this journey specifically and talked about how failure has to be a part of your process, your journey. If you are on any sort of like transformation journey, failing and falling off the wagon has to just be par for the course. And that sentiment really taps into what I'm talking about today in my update. Um, there's a lot going on in the world. I live in the United States, and politically, there's just a lot changing very quickly. I don't want to like discuss specifics here, but it's very very stimulating, and I, like a moth to a flame, could not resist. And over the past like 3 or 4 days, I have been ingesting quite a bit of media around what's going on in the world. And I've certainly spent, an hour plus just sitting down and looking at YouTube, watching various videos, things about what's going on. And I can say that I felt not great afterwards. It certainly did what that activity does, and really depleted my brain's resources from feeling regulated and being able to feel satisfaction with other things throughout the day. Certainly felt all of those impacts on my brain health come back by overindulging and consuming a lot of media. However, I do wanna say that I don't feel any shame about it at all. Um, Again, this relationship has to be an ongoing thing. My relationship to media consumption has to be sustainable and something that I can do, for the rest of my life. Like, how do I wanna relate to it? How much do I wanna allow? And there's going to be things that happen in the world, and I'm not really wanting to just dig my head in the sand and shove everything out. I do want to know what's going on and engage, and strike a balance with how that's going to work for me. As someone who has bipolar disorder, this takes a little different shape than I think it does for someone who doesn't. I think anybody who has any sort of condition, mental health condition, where they tend to get in states that are overstimulating, mania and anxiety, two things that I struggle with, but those are both elevated states. They're both highly stimulated, overstimulated states. And if you are someone who deals with those conditions, and you care about things that happen in the world, things that happen politically can be very, very destabilizing. Um, the past few nights, I have really not slept, and I was consuming a lot of media during the day. Not, like not all day like I had been kind of before when I was grieving, but certainly more than I had been. I went a little indulged a bit and kind of spent a lot of time just watching videos, and it was incredibly stimulating, too stimulating, and I couldn't sleep for a few nights. If you know anything about bipolar disorder or stimulated states, not sleeping is really to be taken seriously. It can lead to manic episodes. Um, and yesterday and a little bit this morning, I was certainly feeling a little uncomfortable with how quickly my mind was moving, and kind of not really feeling grounded in this reality, and shooting off into places that I know, just based on experience, are kind of the beginning of mania. In addition to this, and this is for any female viewers who I have out there, anyone who experiences menses, this happens to fall in line with a few days right before the beginning of my cycle. And that is a really not a time when females can take on a lot of additional stress. And so I was dealing with that, as well as like hormonally I wasn't really equipped to be able to consume in a low stress way the stressful media that I was taking in. So I had like a couple of things that made this difficult. Um, but this is a mental health journal. This what I am sharing here is the truth of what happens in my story. And I kind of thought about whether I really how much I wanted to share, and I decided that I have no reason to lie about what happens. The whole point of this is to not pose as somebody who's perfect. I'm wanting to share how to do it, how to transform, and this is a part of the process. Um, the quicker we can release shame around a behavior that we didn't necessarily want to choose, the quicker we can dismiss it. It's like that's not a part of our character. That's not a part of who we are fundamentally. It's just like a blip in time. And then we return to who we are and what our values are and how we want to align with them, with our behaviors. I am certainly feeling more balanced now. I ate a good meal. I took a little nap and I did some meditating, and I'm feeling more regulated now. I'm trying to decide how I'm going to handle the next 4 years of being an American citizen, just because I suspect a lot of civil upheaval and just a lot of change that is happening, and there's going to be a lot of feelings that everyone has about it, for better or for worse. And I really want to make sure that I take care of myself and that I talk about ways that have helped me as someone who has the conditions that I have, and is highly sensitive. And I want to share what works for me, what doesn't. I want to share when I fall off and when I get back on, and how I handle that, the relationship and the thoughts that I have, that I'm able to get through that. I am someone who has healed a lot and understands transformation and how to heal quite a bit. But this is a lifelong journey. Anyone who has healed knows that it's you kind of keep cycling through things and you get better and better at understanding them, and your perspective shifts and expands over time. You tend to be able to hold more truths at once. My plans going forward. So now I'm over kind of the difficult time in my cycle that I am now going to be dealing with more like progesterone and testosterone and hormones that are more supportive to changing habits and kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. So I'm going to make use of that advantage that I'm working with, physiologically. And going forward, I'm just going to continue with my original intent here, which was to be very mindful with my media consumption. Why am I doing this? Why am I getting on right now? What purpose is it serving? Am I trying to learn something? With the past few days, I was trying to understand what was happening in the world. It wasn't like it was a completely wasted source of my energy. I did want to know what was going on because it impacts me and it impacts people that I care about. My intent is to just give myself endless grace and allow myself to experiment. If there's a time that I want to do more consuming, is there a reason for that? And how do I do it in a way that I can still stay balanced and take care of my mental health? Finding the optimization, finding the levels. Like, I don't think that media is something that you can just put a hard stop to and say, I'm not going to consume it, because it is a part of modern life. And I do think it's important to understand what's going on in the world. So I will likely do one more check-in about this when I hit technically the 30-day mark. So maybe in about 4 or 5 days, I'll do another little final check in on this. And then I'm going to keep moving on to my other mental health topics. Some of the things that I have coming up in particular is talking about blame and placing blame in regards to healing from trauma. um, After you've acknowledged what happened to you, and moving into that next phase of appropriately placing the blame. I have a video lined up about that. There's some other topics. I could talk about these things for the rest of my life because they just change and expand every day with every new experience that I have. So lots more to come. If you are enjoying my content and you would like to see more, please do subscribe. Please like the video, especially if you made it this far. That helps me know that it is enjoyable and valuable content. If you have any feedback for me, please do share that with me as well. And if there's any particular topics that you're wanting me to discuss or to go over in regards to childhood trauma, healing, wellness, bipolar, ADHD, neurodivergence, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, those are the topics that I know well enough to be able to speak on them. So if you want to learn more specifically about something, this is a new channel. So giving me that feedback will help me kind of direct my attention and my focus as far as what content is going to be of value to you. So thank you again for watching. Super honored to have gotten your time and your attention. And I'll see you again in a few days. Ciao.